If you or maybe someone you know is a rookie home buyer, then I want to share in this video today the mistakes that rookie buyers often make that can make them lose time, can certainly make you lose money, and of course it can sometimes even make you lose the home that you really want. So please stick around. So let's break down the most common rookie buyer mistakes, and I want to show you how to fix those mistakes. Hey neighbors, Catherine Newman here, and even though I know the housing market is pretty flat right now across many markets in our country, and we all know that that's due to higher interest rates and of course home prices that lots of people cannot afford. But I also know, despite that, that there are still a lot of first-time homebuyers, because I'm meeting with you weekly, and you've been saving for a long time, and you are already in a position to purchase your first home, and I think that that's great. And I'm going to call you guys rookie buyers. So remember, buying a home is one of the most important financial decisions, well, in anybody's life. And because it's so important, that's why I want to share with you how do you avoid the common rookie buyer mistakes. So let's get into it. Rookie buyer mistake number one, skipping the pre-approval. Oh, you guys, you really can't do that, right? You think you can start house hunting, going out there and looking at houses.
This is the sunroom. That's right. It's accessing the real sun.
Without getting a pre-approval for a mortgage. And that's a big mistake, because without that, sellers, whether they're builders or resale sellers, they're not going to take you seriously. And of course, you have to have that pre-approval. If you're going new construction or resale, you got to give it to them in your offer. Now, the fix for that, of course, is, well, you go get a pre-approval from a lender before you start going to look at houses, because that pre-approval is your golden ticket showing the seller that you are ready to roll. Rookie mistake number two, falling in love with a house that you can't afford. Gosh, that's heartbreaking, right? You see the perfect house in the perfect community, but it's really way out of your budget. And of course, then you get really disappointed and nothing you see after that measures up. And remember, you have to factor in not just the price of the house. You have to factor in how much will any CDD fees, HOA fees, and of course, how much the taxes are going to be. How much is that going to contribute to your monthly payment? So when I take my buyers out, I've already estimated kind of a breakdown of the total cost of the home that they want to go see. That keeps everything in line, and you know what you're getting into when we go look at them. So of course, the fix for this is you've got to stick to homes within your price range, and you have to remind yourself that maybe your dream home isn't just about the house. It really is about being able to afford it comfortably. And again, it may not be your dream house, but I promise you, if you buy smart, it's going to get your foot in the door to home ownership. So you want to make sure you buy smart. You want to have future resale in mind so that you can gain equity in your first home and get to your next home using that equity that you make when you sell the first one. And of course, then that just builds and goes on and on and on. So let me give you an example of my own life. I bought my first house when I was 21 years old in Hickory, North Carolina. I've shared this on other videos. I'm kind of right outside of Hickory, Conover. Nobody's ever heard Conover. But anyway, any North Carolina people out there, give me a shout out if you've heard of Hickory or Conover. But my first experience was buying a brand new construction home. It was about 1,300 square feet. It was really small, but we had been paying rent, and we thought it'd be great if we could buy. We know we can afford the payment, so we were able to get a down payment, and my mom helped, and blah, blah, blah. But we bought that house, and then with about 3.5 years later, I think we paid $68,000. I know, right? $68,000 for a little rancher with a 2-car garage, 1,300 square feet. And we bought that little house, and 3.5 years later, we were able to sell it somewhere in the $95,000 range. Of course, and we took the $6,000 that we got from my mom, and we gave that back to her because we felt that was the right thing to do. And then we moved from North Carolina to Colorado, and we used the proceeds on that house to buy another house. And now this house was $110,000. Now, I forgot to tell you, the first house we bought in North Carolina, the interest rate in 1989, I know, 1989, way back there, the interest rate was 9.5%, which was lower than a lot of rates that had been around years leading up to it, because the 80s was the big crisis, savings and loan crisis. The rates had been crazy in the double digits. So when we bought it 9.5%, we thought we were doing real good. Then we take the proceeds, we go to Colorado, totally different market. We find another new construction house that we're going to buy. And now this house is $110,000. And we were able to do an adjustable rate that started at 4.5%. The next year it went to 5.5%. And it was going to cap at 6.5% for the rest of the loan term. And hey, that was way less than what we had. So even though it was risky for us to be buying a $110,000 home, we had equity in the first one to put in the next one. And then when we sold that one, we bought another one now in the $182,000 range, and we took equity to buy that one. And then we bought another one in Monument, Colorado. And you see where I'm going here. We made money on each house. We bought smart, and we saved our money, and we did really well, and we kept buying up. So that's an experience that I want you to have, because real estate really is generational wealth building. If you buy smart the first time and you keep kind of using your equity to go up there, you're going to be able to get the dream house eventually. So, and of course, then we sold in Colorado and moved here to the great state of Florida, my hometown, Parrish, and we were able to get our house here. And now we have our home paid off. So yeah, baby.
Well, look at you, walking into rooms, declaring things.
Love that. So I want you to experience the same thing, buying smart, using your proceeds to move on in life and move up and build that generational wealth for your family. Rookie mistake number 3, not considering all the costs of owning a home. Now, rookie buyers often focus on the down payment, and they forget sometimes that there are closing costs. There are property taxes. You have to have homeowners insurance, sometimes flood insurance. And of course, there's the ongoing maintenance to have a house, especially in Florida, lots of maintenance. So the fix for this rookie mistake is to work with an agent that's going to educate you on the full cost of home ownership. And then you need to create a budget that's going to include all of these expenses so that you have no surprises. Rookie mistake number 4, making big financial changes before closings. Oh my gosh, guys, don't do this. Don't buy a car. Don't open a new credit card. Don't close an old credit card, maybe. Don't quit your job before closing. Because if you do, your loan's going to fall apart. So we have to drill it in your head, right? No big financial moves until after you've closed on the house. None. No appliances, no clothes, no new underwear. Well, you can do those sorts of things. None. Nada. Zip. And if any of you have questions about what you should or shouldn't do with any extra money you get in, or maybe you're going to close an account, maybe you want to pay off debt, pay off student debt, pay off a car, talk to the lender long before you make those decisions, because even though you think you're paying stuff off and that's smart, sometimes those actions can hurt your qualifying for a home. I know it sounds crazy, but it happens. So if you're thinking about buying a home, and you have options of what you can do with any extra funds or whatever, call the lender and say, is this going to hurt me or is this going to help me? Because sometimes it does hurt. So, of course, I want you to be very, 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 very careful about what you're buying. And I know you're like, well, that's not fair. Like, we're grown adults now. We can do what we want with our money. But I'm just telling you, please make sure you talk with your lender. Call your real estate professional and say, hey, we were thinking about doing this. And then depends on your scenario. how much money you're bringing. If you just qualify out the wazoo, then maybe it's not as big a deal. But for anybody it's a little touchier with your pre-qualifying and you're keeping things on a tight budget, you really need to make sure you don't make big purchases or sometimes even medium-sized purchases. You can still order some of your Amazon stuff. People won't worry about that. And your groceries, of course. But big purchases, no, don't do it. Rookie mistake number 5, waiving contingencies without understanding the risks. This is less likely in markets like ours here in Manatee and Sarasota because we're in a slower market, kind of a more balanced market, and people are not waiving contingencies. But in competitive markets, a lot of other states, buyers might waive maybe the inspection or the appraisal contingencies in order to win a bidding war. But guys, this can really backfire big time.
It's a really bad idea.
I get it. Bad idea.
And of course, the fix for this is make sure you understand the risks of waiving an inspection contingency or an appraisal contingency. Make sure you know the pros and the cons, because sometimes winning the house is not worth the potential headaches down the road. So speak with your professional real estate agent. They're going to be able to provide you with, well, hopefully TMI, too much information, when it comes to educating you on the home buying process and, of course, the pitfalls that could really hurt you in the long run. I don't want to see that happen to you. Rookie mistake number 6, not researching the neighborhood for yourself. So here you are, you fall in love with a house, but you're not thinking about things like, what's the commute like, right? What are the schools like? If you're going to have kids, what are the amenities close by? Grocery stores, doctors, right? How well are the other homes in the neighborhood maintained? Yeah, that's a big one. I can tell you, I was just driving around some brand new construction. Some of them aren't that nicely maintained, right? Are there any HOA issues that you might not like? Or maybe some of the rules and things that they have that you really don't want to abide by? And there's a million other possibilities that you really need to consider before you make an offer. Because once you move in, you don't want to find out that, hey, this is not the right fit. We thought we could park our trucks on the driveway and we can't. So the fix for this is I'm encouraging you to spend time in that neighborhood before you make an offer. Drive around, right? See what it looks like, all the areas. What do the amenities look like? Are there any local shops? Make sure you talk to the neighbors. Find out about the school ratings. And of course, you need to visit some of the neighborhood Facebook groups if they have any available. And on the note about talking to neighbors, you've really got to be smart here. If you see a neighbor walking around, walking a dog, working in the yard, yeah, go talk to them. But remember, you really need to be smart and talk to as many as possible. You might bump in to the one guy or the one gal who hates it there, who's had a bad experience, and then that's your only impression. You need to see if you can talk to as many people as possible and see what the general consensus is. So before you just go off on one grumpy person, make sure you talk to as many as you can, and then come up with your own decision after you've done research on that community, because you can't blame that on your real estate agent. You can't blame it on the new construction builder. You can't do that. You have to do your due diligence. So I'm really going to drill this in to my buyers. Make sure you like this community. Rookie mistake number 7, overlooking the importance of having your own buyer agent work with you. So there is a lot of value in having your own agent working for you, working alongside you during the home buying process. So the fix for this is understand that a buyer's agent is going to be an advocate for your best interest. They're going to help negotiate between you and the seller, and they're going to guide you through the process. Rookie mistake number 8, getting too emotional. So buying a home, of course, is a big deal, right? It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of it and the stress of it. And of course, there's both, no matter what, because you are taking a risk. But you and I both know when you're all in your feelings, emotions can lead to poor decisions like overpaying or maybe rushing into a deal. So the fix for this is to trust your agent to be your steady guide. They're there to remind you to focus on what your intentions were to begin with, what your goals were, and they want to help you stick to your budget. So they're there to help keep you grounded. And of course, I keep saying this, educated about the processes and of course the timing that's involved and the rights that you have as a buyer. So lean on your real estate professional to hold your hand through it. And we all know that buying a home is statistically really an emotional purchase. It doesn't matter if people say it's not, it is. Most people, when they walk into a home, they go into a community, they get an emotion about it, right? This really fits us. Boy, I can see myself living here. Those are all emotions, people. I would say the most part, the people that aren't emotional about buying are investors. They don't care. They're not living there. So it's such an emotional purchase that you want to make sure that it is the right fit for you. And these are things when I take my buyers out, we talk about when we're in the car going from one house to another house. You know, we'll talk about how do they make you feel? Did it feel sunny? Did it feel happy? Did it feel, whatever kind of feeling they like? We talk about that because those are important, right? The way that you feel about something. Is this a home where I can see myself thriving and growing and really being happy and raising a family or whatever it is that you do? It's really important that you keep emotions intact and that you're buying smart when it's time to buy that first house. Rookie mistake number 9, not understanding the market where you want to buy. So is the market where you want to buy, is it a hot market? Is it a cold market? Is it somewhere in the middle maybe? Are you buying in a seller's market? Are you buying in a buyer's market? What's the inventory levels like there? Do you understand, like we've talked already, that there are added fees like HOA or maybe CDD dues that can price you out of the home that you want to purchase? So for example, maybe your budget's $450,000. You find a home, that one works, doesn't have a lot of fees, but then you find another house where there's lots of fees and then you end up at like $470,000. So sometimes you cannot lowball every offer. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can wait for prices to drop. Sometimes you can. You really have to have solid information on what the market is doing in your location, and it can change from this neighborhood to that neighborhood. So the fix for this is to have your agent show you what's happening in that market, right? They need to give you real examples of recent sales so that you can set realistic expectations. Rookie mistake number 10, rushing the process. And again, we've said it before, some buyers feel really pressured to make a decision quickly, and they end up with buyer's remorse.
I have the buyer's remorse.
Now it's going to change on where you are. If you're in a fast, hot market, you might have to be quick. The only fix I have is for you to take your time, do your due diligence, and don't rush the process. So making sure that you have the right guidance, you have the right information, and that you are just at peace with what you want to do, because your agent is not just helping you buy a house, right? For me, I'm helping you make one of the biggest decisions of your life. So it's really important, and I take that seriously. I want to help you keep informed. I want to help set your expectations. And my job is to be the rock that you lean on throughout that process. Of course, if I can be that rock for any maybe rookie out there looking to buy something, or maybe you're a seasoned buyer and you haven't bought in a while, and boy, have things changed, right? If that's you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We can discuss what your home buying journey is, or maybe what your home selling situation, because gosh, guys, home selling has changed a lot too in the last 2.5 to 3 years. This is not your grandma's market. And of course, I think this is probably even more true about sellers right now, needing to be educated in the current market that we have, because it's not like it was during COVID when it was a seller's market. So I want you to have the right professional guidance to get you through that home buying or home selling process. And if you want more great tips and information about my counties, Manatee or Sarasota, or just real estate in general, I sure would appreciate if you'd like this video. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you're alerted every time a new video is available. And of course, reach out if you have any questions, whether you're a rookie or not. I'm Catherine Newman. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.